obviously excited about being able to come back with a win and get a win on the road. Those are things we obviously challenged our guys with and knew the situation. Number one, that we hadn't won 2 back-to-back games this season, challenged that in itself. And then the other was just getting a road win, which hasn't been done since week 2 of last season. So, being able to take that opportunity and challenge our guys with that, and our guys rise up to the occasion and go out and complete both of those and break those streaks, so to say. It's very beneficial and able to pull away, a lot of positives from that. To build on what happened on Saturday from an execution standpoint, and really in all 3 phases, offensively, defensively, and special teams. We had some guys across the board play really well, and had some guys step up and kind of next man up type roles, play well as that helped us, get that win. So it was huge to come back with a win.
Go ahead and open up for questions about the SFA game.
Coach, that first thing I want to ask is, second straight game, you have really good fourth quarter. I think you had 9.5 minutes of possession in the fourth quarter. How satisfying has it been these last 2 weeks to be able to hold on and kind of dominate the fourth quarters?
Yeah, it's encouraging, but definitely can build off of it. Obviously goes to our guys and what we're able to do up front. I mean, that's where it starts when you get in those situations and you're able to hold on to the football like that and do those things. So it goes up front. We've been able to mix and match some guys, up front to get those 5 guys, and those guys have done a really good job of doing that. And it's something we were able to do again Saturday night, and being able to go out and complete the game in the fashion that we did, definitely something we can build off of, and just going forward.
How much is it that says that how much they've grown as a team? Because early in the year, that was your problem, was the fourth quarter. Now it seems like your guys have stepped up and dominated the fourth quarters.
It's really good, and I think, it just goes back into just a huge part of our program, from a standpoint of everything that we've done since we've been here, and just a continuation to grow as a football team, as strength-wise, just everything that we've done, gives it, kind of plays into that situation and what was able to happen really over the last 2 weeks. So, excited about that, but definitely some positives with those guys and things we can build off of.
The first 3 quarters, it seems like SFA's defense was able to kind of give you one of the bigger challenges you've had in the last few weeks. I guess when you look at the film, what were they doing, and how were you guys able to adjust to it?
Yeah, just going back, those guys did a good job just going back and able to adjust and make adjustments and then go out and execute those adjustments, and those are things that we were able to do, especially on the back half of the game, right there in the second half. So, good job by our players taking the adjustments, especially halftime adjustments, in-game adjustments, and being able to go out and execute them and do those things that was able to produce points as the game went on.
And now,
last couple of weeks, you've had Justin Pratt back. A couple of big performances by him. A senior, a leader. Just how big is it to have his leadership back on the field?
Yeah, huge. A guy obviously put a lot in this program and has been a successful player. And what he's done over the last 2 weeks has been, huge just for his productivity. Who he is as a person. So really excited about both of those jobs that he's done over the last 2 weeks, and just the load that he's been able to carry. He's ran really hard, just running on the correct tracks, and what he's seen, vision-wise, he's done a great job. Just really excited for him that he's been able to do that, for himself as much as anything over the last 2 weeks. That being that he's been coming off, injury. His senior year, so excited about that for Pratt.
Usually the toughest, I guess, group of kids that have to deal with a coaching transition are usually seniors. It seems like they've taken it in stride, but on the verge of senior day, I just want to, what are your thoughts on, this is your first senior class, but just this senior class as a whole?
Yeah, it is, and the thing about those guys, and when you get this situation for those guys, it can be tough on those guys, just the transition, and here they set their senior year. And the thing about those guys, it's been very pivotal for those guys as the season going on, and the things that have happened this season is a lot of it has to do with those older guys, and just their buy-in and the things that they've done. It's a really good group of kids within that group, and just their leadership, and how they've played and the things they've done. all the way really back to December or January. And, just really excited about that group. We talked about those guys yesterday in here and made those guys stand up in the team meeting. And we know it's senior day, and like any time, those are the guys we're going to play for on Saturday. They know and understand the situation, and especially one last guaranteed right here at home. In the whole, so excited about that for those guys. But just that group as a whole, just their buy-in, what they've continued to do, the work that they've continued to put in, and the direction they wanted this program to ultimately go, and just talk about leaving their legacy for what they were able to do, in their time here with us. And they still have, we still got a few weeks of that left. So just excited about what we'll do with that group of guys over the coming weeks.
Coach, can you point to anything specific in regards to the change for third down conversion, and also, I guess, work in the fourth down conversion, right? Because it's incrementally improved to a point where you talk about finishing these fourth quarters, you can't do it unless you convert on the third down.
Yeah, just execution. I just go back, early on in the season, just understanding the scheme and understanding, how things were supposed to be done, and it's just a lot. Just more reps at it and understanding of it, and it's just, just being more productive with it. That's what it goes back to. Guys just understanding, where to take the ball, where am I supposed to be in a route combination, and all those things. So when you combine all that up, that's where we've been fortunate to increase those percentages and all those. It's just, you just kind of go back through the season of just getting better every week, and those are things we've been able to consistently do as a football team. So within that, you're gonna see those percentages increase. Just like from an offense standpoint, total yards increase, points increase, and then from a defensive standpoint, flip it on that side, just what we've been able to do over the last couple of weeks, shutting people out in quarters and minimizing people, total yards and their third downs, their first downs or fourth downs, and then big play, just minimizing big plays. So those are things that we've seen as the seasons went on, just the progression of that and how we've improved in that and got better as a football team.
Let me follow that up. We talked about, we've seen the maturation of Orgeron. Has there been any change in his ability or his skill set of getting you out of bad plays and into better plays? I don't know if you've addressed that or talked about his changing certain routes or changing formations in the middle of a sequence, if you will.
Yeah, no, just his growth and everything he's been able to do, and just when you know better, you do better, and that's something we're really reaping from him right now, is that benefit of is just his experience. And I don't want to say it every week, like every rep he takes in practice gets him that much better. Every snap he takes during the game gains him that much more game experience, and he just has improved and gotten better. Where he's feeling really confident in what he's able to do and how he's able to go out and produce, and those guys around him are as well.
Coach, what's your take on just the Southland as a whole? Because your next opponent, Northwestern State, they upset Incarnate, get their first win of the season. Just seems like there's been a whole lot of just results all across the conference have been crazy. And just, have you seen it, and what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I always say that, the parity exists in college football, and it dang sure exists in the Southland Conference. And you just look up, there's good players, good coaches, and you just look what's happened over the last couple of weeks, how games have ended up, how teams have played, people close, and whatnot. So, every Saturday you got to show up. Every Saturday you got to show up and play at a high level, or you won't get the result that you've been working for. So, we know that exists right here in the Southland. You just take Northwestern, what they've done over the last 2 weeks, take Central Arkansas 31-30, beat Incarnate Word 41-40 or 44-41. And every week you got to show up to play. Everybody is more than capable of winning games in the Southland.
Is it the fact that they won last week, Northwestern State, kind of give you don't have to wake up the kids because they can see it?
Yeah, you just look back, and especially as coaches, you look back and you just see what they've done over the last couple of weeks, and they have as well gotten better. And our kids are going to be aware of that. You go back to a year ago, you know, a double overtime game against them. So our kids are aware, you know, of what kind of football team they are and what they're capable of being. So, you know, I mean, just like that, I mean, it'll go back to and like we do every week, number one, just go back and focus on ourselves. We got things we need to correct. We got things we need to improve in areas that we need to get better at, you know, all around. And those are where our heavy focus will stay.
I asked Cody this, I think after the last game, not this past weekend, but has it gotten to the point with the offense where it's less of kind of we hope to have a good performance and more kind of the expectation of having good performances?
Yeah, I mean, definitely so, especially, you know, as you go on and you know, just what we've been able to do, you know, from the past stat-wise, and those guys were aware of those numbers. They had seen those numbers and such. And, you know, they're really living that right now. You know, they're really living it and starting to understand, hey, this is how productive we can be. These are the things we can do. You don't have that kind of production week in and week out, and just know what that expectation is, know that standard. And, you know, that's the thing about us. You know, we went out and, you know, played really well and, you know, set that standard for us of, hey, you know, this is where the expectation sets at. This is, you know, what we can do on a consistent basis. And, okay, how do we be consistent with it, you know, week in and week out? You know, what are those steps, what are those measures that we need to take to do those things? So, you know, those are the coaching points, those are the teaching points right now of just learning and growing, you know, and that's all the way through, you know, everything that we're doing is about that, you know, from an athletic standpoint, academic standpoint, social standpoint, all of it, all, you know, it's all gonna fit up in that realm of just learning how to do everything that takes to go be consistently good, you know, week in and week out.
How important are not the last 2 weeks also, but the next 3 weeks for whether you make the playoffs or not, for building for this program and kind of making it on a run to kind of build into the spring to?
Yeah, it's huge, and you know, it's a huge game this week. You know, we got a bye week coming, and we got 2 after that. You know, so we understand and know what the next 4 weeks, you know, will entail for us, and the path that it can get us on and keep us on. And you know, it's about staying focused. It's about being really good over the next 4 weeks in everything that we do. And you know, that's the challenge we set out there to our guys, and they know and understand, and we'll address it tomorrow about that of knowing what we really have over the next you know, 4 weeks to get done, you know, with this season.
Follow up that point, talking about the growth going into spring, but you're in a win now business. I mean, your business is win now, win week to week. They understand also that if you want to have a shot with this crazy race, you got to win out basically. Do you coach differently? Do you coach a little bit more on the edge, or you also want to keep them loose and not get them tight? How do you approach that these important practices leading up to game?
Yeah, and I mean, you know, number one, we addressed it. You know, that's the one thing our guys know. We're going to address that, and they know and understand the situation. And you know, I've compared it to the World Series a little bit. I mean, whoever wins those 4 games is going to win it all. And you know, just talking about how locked in both of those teams are. You know, about the opportunity and the situation, just because, you know, a lot of those guys have played their entire career and maybe only get one shot at the World Series. You know, we go tie it back in with our seniors. You know, these guys are down to, you know, to 3 games guaranteed left. So just, you know, what are you willing to do over the next 4 weeks to ensure yourself and ensure this football team the best opportunity for success? And our guys, you know, they know and understand the situation. And you know, from us, it goes back. To answer your question, no. I mean, what we're going to do is go back. We're going to coach you. You know, I talked about it yesterday. We're going to coach you hard. We're going to love you hard. You know, we're going to correct you. We're going to get you the absolute best out of you every day. And those are the things that you're going to get when you come to McNeese, and those guys are getting right now. And then that's what I told them. You know, that's the guarantee. And you know, it doesn't change that from us. You know, we're not going to change on that. You know, it's just, you know, what are we willing to do over the next 4 weeks to really lock you in or really lock us in, you know, putting us in the situation, you know, to possibly get a spot in the playoffs.
Have you looked at kind of the field and see if 8-4 gets you in, or have you not gone that far yet?
I haven't. I mean, I know a couple of the assistant coaches have messed with that and just kind of looked at it, you know, so I know from afar there's an opportunity for that still to sit there. I can't rattle off what that is. you know, but just, as you know, just like David asked the question, I mean, just the parity in this conference and what's happened in this conference, you know, can leave it still wide open for those possibilities.
And last one for me, do you find yourself, or I know you have to win the game, you have to win your games, but do you find yourself, or will you find yourself maybe looking at, I'll say like an Alcorn, kind of hoping like, hey, they need to win out to kind of help our, you know, strength of schedule or anything like that, and like different opponents in that case?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's natural. I mean, as we go on and as this continues to go over the next 4 weeks, yeah, I mean, you're naturally going to look up there and just see, you know, what those guys are doing, what's going on in the conference, because it's all going to play pivotal hand in hand in, you know, what ultimately happens to us, you know, 4 weeks from now.
Also, last one, kind of off subject here, but Jimmy Garoppolo, I know it's a guy you're close with. How is it to see him at 7-0 with the Niners, and do you still keep in contact with him?
Yeah, awesome. You know, yeah, I mean, every Sunday I'm looking, you know, see what those guys do, and you know, I mean, they're having a great start right now. Obviously, he's playing well and doing some really good things. Yeah, I've stayed in contact with him. You know, got to see him this spring out there and everything. So, just excited for him. You know, just the success he's having, and you know, I got asked the other night. You know, they were talking about him and Steve Young's and the Montanas and just kind of him being undefeated and all this, and someone asked me, you know, can he do it? Is he that good? And without hesitation, absolutely. You know, I mean, he's as talented as there is in the nation. You know, and obviously with him going to New England, being with Belichick and Brady, had an opportunity to grow under the best, you know, at that level that you could be under. You know, but a guy that I mean, is really good, and obviously the 49ers are you know, feeling that goodness out of him, so they're doing good, and he's a big part of it.
All right, Coach, appreciate it.